somewhat unusual, along with, I think, everything that has happened in terms of the change in leadership. This session has been somewhat unusual.
Well, unusual is just one way to describe the shakeup of leadership and committees this session for Republicans. Another might be curious. We talked about this last month when we sat down with the newly appointed chair of the House Revenue and Taxation Committee. There was the removal of House Majority Leader Megan Blanksma from that position on February 8th. That's the first move. Unprecedented, it was called. Well, that opened up the door for Representative Jason Monks to take over that role, but he had to give up his spot as chair of House Rev and Tax. That's when Representative David Cannon replaced Representative Monks as chair. Monks, however, stayed on the committee. And then about a week later, Representative Judy Boyle was added to House Rev and Tax, an assignment Speaker Mike Moyle says was due after she abruptly resigned from the House Education Committee in the middle of last session. Okay, so this is where the curious part comes in. Adding a well-known supporter of school choice to a committee where that very bill would be considered, where she could be the swing vote, that's the part that seemed curious. And we asked Chair Cannon about this last month.
I have nothing, I don't have any information. I don't know if that's a coincidence or if that's a plan. I would just be speculating if I weighed in on that.
We also did try to ask Speaker Moyle about it, but we could never nail down a time for an interview. So that brings us to today, when House Bill 447, the Parental Choice Tax Credit Bill, would see its first public test. And here's the other curious part. The bill failed by one vote, partially because of a question asked by the committee's newest member. Andrew Bartline explains.
With the table set for a big choice in House Revenue and Taxation.
You shouldn't have to live on the right side of State Street to get in school where your child has a fighting chance.
Not everyone's sharing the same appetite.
If you don't like what's for dinner, I'm not going to pay for your evening out.
But that's what the school choice tax credit proposes. It would return $5,000 per student taught outside traditional public schools. The program's capped at $50 million.
It's the best fit for my kids.
That's Robbie Hart.
Helps them thrive. And
a single parent of two.
Yeah, unfortunately with inflation and the challenges, I'm actually putting my house up for sale, trying to continue to be frugal.
Because his priorities all funnel back to the family.
Thank you for this time. I drive from Emmett, Idaho to Greenleaf, Idaho to give my kids the education that I believe they need.
140 miles a day.
5 days a week.
And none of it's cheap.
Every year I have to go about finding funds to assist with that.
He's just one part of a larger crowd.
Please do not leave them hungry.
Shopping off menu for education.
The reality for families is that public school is not the perfect fit for every child.
Sort of a self-serving statement.
Lots of stories like that across the state.
For leaders in Catholic education.
Because a lot of the concern was this is just subsidizing wealthy families that already attend your schools.
Most of those families aren't going to take advantage of this. The families that need it are going to be signing up for it very, very quickly.
Because you'll need to get it while it's hot.
Okay, first come, first serve.
Which was just the entry point for the bill's biggest opponent.
Idaho is a national leader in school choice.
Those on the other side of the podium.
Confirm or deny. Where does this provide for a specific increase in choice?
So this isn't about tailoring something to the masses. This is about making sure that we're not leaving out some families or some kids.
And it's been done in a very clever way. Idaho has a Blaine Amendment. That bans public dollars from entering private religious schools.
I live in Phoenix, Arizona.
Seemingly.
And I've been involved in the school choice movement in Arizona for the last 21 years.
That makes Blaine a big hurdle.
Does Arizona have a Blaine Amendment? And if so, how did you get around that?
But Representative Judy Boyle shows us the loophole.
And the constitutional distinction there is that the money goes into an account and all of that money is directed by parents.
And that's just too big of a technicality.
Some of the testimony that we've heard today gives me pause.
For Representative Raymond.
For example, that the voucher system is unconstitutional, so the way we work around that is give money directly to the families.
In a way, that made the choice for him.
Motion has failed by an 8-9 count. We stand adjourned.
I just came here to grovel for the scraps at the table. It's humbling, it's not fun, but that's why I'm here.
Standing up for the best interest of his family, you could say the choice was already made for Robbie, too.
I'm never going to give up what it takes to make sure my kids get the education they need and what is beneficial for them.
Public school organizations widely opposed the bill. Many people opposed it just as taxpayers too. And if a parent did oppose it in testimony, well, then I must have missed them. Many lawmakers voiced concerns about this $50 million that the program would have been capped at. Well, they think it could be better used elsewhere in the general fund. And going into the session, Brian, we probably would have pegged this piece of legislation or something along these lines as a top 3 topic. Shot down in committee, didn't get past it.
The way this played out is amazing. The way you told that and showed how it just kind of went there from A to B is incredible. But I want to ask about the diocese take that students and parents that are already going to private school aren't going to take advantage of this. All you have to do is look to Arizona, where this is a big problem, and their budget has ballooned because of that.
Yeah, there's a guy from Phoenix that was arguing that point. I have to go back and look at it, but he explained some of those concerns to the committee members, and he had arguments that sounded good, but I'd have to look deeper into it.
Okay, well, there's still some time left. We could see another bill come up before the session is over. Stay tuned. Thanks, Andrew.